My name is Margaret Williams, and it's 62 years old. I thought I knew everything about the man I'd been married to for 37 years. I was wrong. Let me start from the beginning, because every story worth telling deserves the truth, even when it hurts. I met Robert when I was 25, fresh out of graduate school, working as a teacher in Atlanta. He was 30, an accountant with kind eyes and a laugh that made my heart skip. We married within a year. Our life together was comfortable. We had 2 children, Daniel and Sarah, who grew up to be wonderful adults with families of their own. Robert always handled our finances. "Let me take care of the numbers, Maggie," he'd say with that smile. "You take care of everything else," and I did. I trusted him completely. Last summer, our children surprised us with a family reunion trip to Charleston. They'd booked a beautiful historic hotel for all of us, 3 generations under one roof for days. I was overjoyed. The first evening after dinner, I noticed something odd. Robert kept checking his phone, smiling at the screen in a way I hadn't seen in years. When I asked about it, he said it was just work emails. At 67, he was supposed to be semi-retired. That night, I couldn't sleep. Call it intuition, call it fear, but something felt wrong. Around 2 in the morning, I heard Robert's phone buzz on the nightstand. The screen lit up with a message. "Missing you already. Can't wait for our next trip. Love you, Diana." My world tilted. I sat there in the darkness, my heart pounding, staring at my husband's sleeping face. Who was Diana? How long had this been going on? The questions circled like vultures. The next morning, I said nothing. I smiled through breakfast with my children and grandchildren, posed for photos, laughed at jokes. But inside, I was dying. On the second night, Robert said he wasn't feeling well and went to bed early. I stayed up with Sarah, drinking tea on the hotel balcony, looking out at the Charleston lights. "Mom, you seem distant," Sarah said, touching my hand. "Is everything okay?" I almost told her. Almost. But this was supposed to be a happy reunion. I wouldn't ruin it. "Just tired, sweetheart," I lied. But I couldn't let it go. That night, after everyone was asleep, I did something I never thought I'd do. I picked up Robert's phone. His passcode was our anniversary, which now felt like a cruel joke. I found everything. Messages going back to years. Diana was 53, a widow he'd met at a financial conference. They'd been on trips together. Trips he told me were for work. Hotels I'd helped him pack for. Lies I'd ironed shirts for. There were photos of them together, holding hands, looking at each other the way Robert and I used to look at each other. Decades ago, I sat in the bathroom, crying silently so I wouldn't wake anyone. 37 years, 2 children, a whole lifetime. And he'd been living a double life for 2 years. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined. But beneath the pain, something else grew. Anger. A cold, clear anger. I thought about confronting him right there. But then I had a different idea. The next morning, I woke early and went to the front desk. I asked to speak with the manager, a kind woman named Patricia. "I need your help with something," I told her quietly. "And I need you to trust me." I explained everything. Patricia listened, her expression shifting from confusion to sympathy to something like admiration. "Mrs. Williams," she said, "I think I can help you. Here's what you need to understand. I had paid for all our rooms. Robert didn't know this. Our children had asked me to contribute, and I'd used money from my late mother's estate, money Robert knew nothing about because he'd never cared about my small inheritance. I'd paid for everything. His room, our children's rooms, our grandchildren's rooms. Everything." Patricia pulled up the reservations. "What would you like me to do?" she asked. "I want to cancel everything," I said. "Effective tonight. But I want to change one room to just my name." "The smallest single room you have, and Mr. Williams?" Patricia asked gently. "He'll figure it out," I said. That day, I played my part perfectly. We toured historic homes, ate at beautiful restaurants, took family photos. I held Robert's hand and smiled. My children saw nothing wrong. That evening, after dinner, I waited until Robert fell asleep. Then I packed my bag quietly, took my purse, and left our room. I went to the front desk where Patricia was waiting. "It's done," she said softly. "Your new room is ready. And the rest, well, checkout is at 11 a.m. Thank you," I whispered. I moved into a small room on a different floor. I didn't sleep, but I felt more awake than I had in years. At 7 a.m., my phone started ringing. "Robert." I didn't answer. At 7:30, Daniel called. "Mom, where are you?" "Dad's freaking out. He says the hotel is saying there's no reservation, that everything's been cancelled. The kids are confused. What's happening? Tell your father, I said calmly, that I know about Diana. Tell him I paid for every room in this hotel, and I've cancelled them all. Tell him he can call Diana to come get him, or he can figure it out himself. Tell him I'm done. Silence on the other end. MOM. What? I'll explain everything. Later, sweetheart. But right now, I need you to trust me. This is between your father and me. I could hear chaos in the background. Robert shouting. Sarah crying. The grandchildren asking questions. MOM. This is crazy, Daniel said. Where are you? I am safe. I'm in the hotel. But I'm not coming back to that room. And I'm not going home with your father. I hung up. The next hour was probably the longest of my life. I sat in my small room, holding the golden credit card that had paid for everything, thinking about all the years I'd trusted, all the times I'd been faithful, all the moments I'd chosen as over everything else. Around 9, someone knocked on my door. It was Sarah. MOM, she said when I opened it, tears streaming down her face. Is it true? I nodded. She hugged me, and we both cried. I found the messages on his phone 2 nights ago. I told her. A woman named Diana. 2 years, Sarah. 2 years of lies. MOM. She whispered. We sat together on the bed, and I showed her everything I'd found. She held my hand, angry and heartbroken for me. What are you going to do? She asked. I don't know yet, I admitted, but I know I couldn't keep pretending. Not for one more day. Daniel came next, then his wife. We all talked. They were shocked, angry at their father, worried about me, but they understood. Did you really cancel everyone's rooms? Daniel asked, almost smiling despite everything. I did, I said. I paid for them. They were mine to cancel. That's actually kind of amazing, MOM. He said that'd be my checkout time. Robert had called Diana. She'd booked him a flight home. He left without speaking to me, though he tried. I simply wasn't available. I stayed in Charleston for 3 more days, in my small room that I paid for myself. My children stayed too, rebooking their own rooms. We walked, we talked, we healed. Together on my last evening there, sitting on a bench overlooking the water, I felt something unexpected. Peace. Yes, my marriage was probably over. Yes, I'd have to rebuild my life at 62. Yes, there would be hard days ahead, but I also felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Free. I thought about all the years I'd made myself smaller, quieter, more accommodating. All the times I'd said yes when I meant no. All the dreams I'd set aside. Not anymore. When I returned home, Robert was waiting. He cried. He apologized. He begged. He said Diana meant nothing, that it was a mistake, that he loved me. I listened quietly. Then I said, I loved you for 37 years, Robert. I was faithful for 37 years. I trusted you with everything, and you threw it away for 2 years of lies. That's your choice to live with. Mine is to move forward without you. He tried to argue, but I was done arguing. I filed for divorce the next week. My children supported me. My friends rallied around me. And slowly, day by day, I started building a new life. I went back to teaching, volunteering at the community college. I joined a book club. I traveled to places I'd always wanted to see. I learned that at 62, life wasn't over, it was just beginning again. Sometimes people ask if I regret how I handled it, if cancelling those hotel rooms was too harsh. I look at them and smile. He had choices every day for 2 years, I say. I had one moment where I chose myself. I don't regret it for a second, because here's what I learned. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your trust, your sense of safety, your understanding of your own life. And you can't heal from that by pretending it didn't happen. I held that golden card, the one that paid for everything, and I realized it was mine. My power, my choice, my life, and I chose me. 6 months later, I was standing in my new apartment, smaller but mine, when Sarah visited with my granddaughter Emma. Grandma, Emma asked, are you sad about Grandpa? I thought about it honestly. Sometimes, I told her, but mostly I am grateful. For what? She asked, confused. For learning that it's never too late to stand up for yourself, to choose your own happiness, to start again. She hugged me tight, and I knew that maybe, just maybe, she'd remember that lesson when she needed it someday, because that's what we leave behind, isn't it? Not perfect lives, but honest ones. Not stories without pain, but stories where We face the pain and keep going anyway. I'm Margaret Williams. I'm 62 years old, and I'm just getting started.